Joseph, it is so great to talk to you under tough circumstances, though. You made it so far and just so close to jury. After having slept on it, how are you feeling this morning about your game and your eviction?
I felt good until I'm talking to all these people. Like, then I'm like, oh my god, like some of them were coming at me hard. But yeah, I like coming out of it. I felt pretty good to be honest. I slept well and everything.
It seemed like for a while, like the vote could have gone any which way last night. A lot of names
Mm-hmm.
were being thrown out. Looking back, what's your best guess as to why it shook out the way it did and who might have been behind it?
I feel like Chelsea wanted me out, so she probably redirected some people in a way to where that would happen. I thought I really was doing some good work with Mackenzie, but I guess that wasn't true. So I am a little surprised that she voted me out just because I felt like we had a better relationship than she had with Chemo. So I just didn't understand that part of it necessarily, but
Yeah, I'm curious about the Chelsea relationship. Looking back on that now, where do you think things changed where she might have wanted to get you out?
I think from the moment I voted out Cedric that she was always going to be against me. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there was more work I could have done before that to repair my relationship with her. But I think once I did that, she was probably just off of me forever.
If you could rewind back, is there like one big strategic move that you would have played completely differently?
I'm thinking like maybe I shouldn't have voted out Cedric and maybe I should have just voted with them because Tucker would have won the next one and I would have been safe either way, because he was my boy. So even if he was, and he told me he wouldn't be mad at me if I didn't vote, for Cedric. So I think I probably should have, even if I was on the wrong side of the vote, I probably should have just voted for him to stay. But that was literally a game time decision. Like I literally right before I went in the diary room was like, I guess I'm going to do this. But I feel like maybe I should have voted for him to stay just so I didn't lose Chelsea and all of them.
Now let's dig into this week because it was a big one.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever would have thought that you would leave on Quinn's HOH. How do you look
Yep.
back on this second HOH reign of his and his decision to put you up as the replacement nom, not wanting to burn bridges with the people that aligned on the Tucker vote?
Yeah, I thought that it was kind of a weak move on his part. None of those people who voted with him care about him. They would all throw him to the wolves. So for him to do that just to make them all happy, I thought was silly. But it's also on me for not pressing harder with him and Leah. I should have pressed harder for him not to put me up. I really did not put in a good effort in that regard, and I should have tried harder with Leah to get her not to use it. So
What would have been your pitch to them?
I would have been like, dude, Quinn, put up T core. Like, don't put up me. Like, I'm your boy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is foolish. Like, you put Cedric on the block and he went home. Like, don't put me on the block. I might go home, and I did. And T core would have broken the tie to vote out, Angela anyway, and would have kept Tucker. So, and people already know you and me are close. We're not fooling anybody. So that's probably would have been my pitch to him. And my pitch to Leah would have been like, please don't use it. Like, he's going to put me up, and I think he's serious about it. So.
If Quinn hadn't put you up in that moment, how far were you planning to go in the game with him? Was there a time you would have turned on him, or was it to the end?
Probably like final five or final six, maybe I would have turned on him. But also, I wouldn't have cared if he went further too. It all would have just been circumstantial.
Now, last week we saw Tucker go out, who
Mm-hmm.
you had a close alliance with. Was he your true final two?
No, like there was nobody in the game I was going to be that loyal to. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have minded going to the final two with him. I thought he was more beatable than maybe the TV edit showed from what I've been speaking to with people. But yeah, I wouldn't have minded going to him with the end, but I always would have done what I felt like was best for me in the moment.
We got to see your conversation with Chelsea, where you're saying you wouldn't have minded going to the end with Tucker because he had a comp heavy game, and you were saying that you would highlight more social and strategic aspects. What would have been, I know we're only talking about the first half of your would have been game, but what would have
Right.
been your pitch and what kind of social or strategic moves were you hoping to make later on in the game?
I feel like I started the collective, you know what I mean, which was an alliance that was under wraps to most people in the house and that they all benefited from, Chelsea included. So the fact that she said I was riding coattails to me was kind of silly when I was the one who started the whole thing. I got Tucker to use the veto on Quinn when that really was not a good move for him at all. And I feel like I was trying to socially be good with everybody in the house. So
Is there someone you would have wanted to go to the end with?
I would have gone to the end with Leah because I thought she was pretty beatable. I also would have gone to the end with MJ for sure.
Well, let's talk about your performance in competitions. You made it clear that you were throwing a lot, which is definitely a good strategy in some respects, but then also can leave you vulnerable if you don't win power in certain situations.
Mm.
How do you look back on that strategy now?
To be honest with you, the only blatant throw was like the wall. The rest of them was like I didn't really care. You know what I mean? But it's not like I threw them intentionally. You know what I mean? Like so. And honestly, I'm not an athlete, so even if I would have tried my hardest, I would have sucked anyway. So I don't think it was detrimental to my game. I think there was many more things outside of that that were detrimental to it.
If you had won the HOH this week, instead of Quinn, who would you have put up as the three nominees?
Well, if it was down to two now, I probably would have gone Angela and Quinn.
Hmm. Quinn,
Yeah.
Quinn, like for this coming week because of in response to what he had done by picking
Right.
you up.
But who knows? Because if I would have felt like he was actually being genuine, wanting me to stay, I might have switched it up and went back on some deals with people. It would have all just depended on the conversations. But that was what I had in my
Now, you're leaving just short of jury, but
head.
do have a really good perspective on our final group of people who are going to be making this big decision. If you
Mm-hmm.
had a vote right now as to who's the most deserving of the win in your eyes and who's playing the best game, who would you give it to
Chelsea for sure.
and why?
I feel like she's been socially maneuvering herself pretty well. She's very sharp cookie. She's a very sharp cookie. And she's won some comps. So I don't see why she shouldn't win.
Who do you think is most likely to win the game? Is it Chelsea or perhaps somebody else?
I don't know. I feel like I heard she won the HOH. So I feel like now she might be a little bit of a target for some people because she is somebody that people see already as like a good player. And now she's winning more and stuff like that. So I really don't know. I feel like the winner of this season is going to be super random because this has been a crazy season.
It really has. It really is anyone's game, it feels like. Um,
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Tico won. Would not be surprised.
yeah.
And I'd be
Now, last week, Tucker was the AI instigator who did all of those fakes. Does that make sense now, thinking back, or
No, not really. That's funny as hell. So I was wrong about that.
who
That's
did you think it
great.
was?
I thought it was chemo.
Hmm.
Because in my head, I was like, who is a big enough fan where they would come up with like the purple horse, the orange, you know what I mean? I thought that was like something only like a big fan of the show would do. So that's funny. Some people thought it was him too, but I did not think it was him. So that is surprising.
If it was you, is there a way that you would have wanted to stir up chaos?
Probably not. I probably would have done something funny. I probably wouldn't have done anything crazy.
Any final thoughts that you want fans to know about your game?
Um, I sucked. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I had a lot of fun and I feel like I had a lot of cool moments or whatever. So all in all, it was a good experience.